I'm Jessica.
And I'm Veronica.
As twins, we've shared everything together, including celiac disease. We also share a love of food, and we've traveled the world trying new and different ingredients. We found that living gluten-free doesn't mean giving up flavor. Whether you're following the doctor's orders or looking for some healthy alternatives to traditional meals, we'll guide you through delicious gluten-free recipes from breakfast to dessert. Food so good, you won't be able to tell the difference. Kind of like us.
On Double Take Diets.
Today's show is all about breakfast. Being gluten-free doesn't mean giving up your Sunday morning favorite. We'll be making foods to start your stomachs and your morning off right. A crustless quiche, a twist on a breakfast tradition so good you won't even miss the crust. And blueberry pancakes, because it's not breakfast without pancakes. Okay, so let's get started on that crustless quiche. I preheated the oven to 450 degrees, and I'm gonna start by chopping a medium onion. It's about a cup, right? Yes, it makes a cup. And would you mind chopping up 2 cups of fresh spinach, please? Sure. So if you're using frozen spinach, just make sure that you thaw it out and strain it, because it'll make the quiche watery if you just throw in the frozen spinach. Now I'm dicing up the onion in small pieces. And again, it's about a cup. So I'm ready with this.
How does my spinach look?
That looks good. You just want to do a rough chop.
Okay.
I like to taste the spinach in the quiche. We put about a tablespoon of oil in a pan on medium heat. And we're going to put in the spinach. Might sizzle a little bit, but that's okay. We're cooking it down. And then the onion. So I'm grating 2 cups of Gruyere cheese. It sounds like a lot of cheese, but you put this on the bottom of the quiche pan and it acts kind of as a crust. It's a binder of the quiche. Again, if you don't like that much cheese, you could put just a cup in, but there's no such thing as too much cheese. Jess, I think these look about ready. Yes, that looks perfect. Again, we're just getting rid of that raw bite of the spinach and the onion. The rest will cook in the oven when we're baking the quiche. So I'm gonna set these aside, and I'm going to now start with the eggs and the milk. And while you're doing that, I'm getting 6 slices of already pre-cooked bacon. I like to use pre-cooked bacon because it's kind of a hands-free thing. There's no grease splatter or mess or anything. We lined a baking sheet with aluminum foil and put it in the oven at 450 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. You do want to keep an eye on it depending on your oven. So I'm going to lightly chop the bacon, and I'll cut this into pieces for the quiche.
All right, and should I start on the eggs?
Yes.
All right, so we're using 1 3/4 cups of half and half, and I'm gonna beat 5 eggs into it. Now we like using half and half because it makes it a little bit lighter rather than using heavy whipping cream.
A lot of recipes use heavy cream, but I just think that you already have the cheese, you already have the bacon, you don't need the extra calories in the heavy cream. Half and half is just as creamy, just without a little bit of that, those calories and fat. Okay, now that this is finished, I'm gonna grab the pan that we're gonna pour the egg mixture in. I'm grabbing my olive oil and the quiche pan. And you just want to pour a little bit in to oil it up. I'm using my hands. You can use a paper towel if you don't like to get messy. I just think it's faster and, not as wasteful.
And you get all the corners.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, again, washing my hands. Probably want to add a pinch of salt.
What about pepper?
We'll add pepper at the end. I like to put it on the top so you can actually see the pepper. And while you add the salt, I'm adding the 2 cups of Gruyere cheese. Again, you can use Swiss cheese, cheddar cheese, any kind of cheese you like. We like Gruyere. So it is very important to put the cheese first and layered on the bottom because it creates a crust. Since this is a crustless quiche, it creates a base. And it is important to put the quiche in layers. You don't want to just mix it all into the bowl together. So now we're taking our spinach and onion mixture. You want to make sure that it's cooled because you don't want to have hot spinach and onions on top of your cheese and you pour the cheese mixture on it because then it will actually start cooking the eggs and it might curdle. Okay, so now that we got all of the spinach mixture in, I'm going to spread it out a little bit to make the second layer. And that looks about good. You just want to get everything in there. Okay, so there's our second layer. And for the third layer, I'm going to sprinkle on the bacon. You don't want to waste this bacon. That looks good by itself. I know. I'm going to reach behind you and get the pepper. Okay. Yeah, my hands are pretty dirty. Why am I the messy one today? Next time we make this, you're doing all the dirty work. Okay. Okay, and there's our third layer of the quiche. I'm gonna wash my hands for the third time. I'm gonna pour the egg and milk mixture evenly over the quiche layers that we have so far. That looks good. It's kind of like a savory pie. And the good thing about doing it crustless is you don't have to worry about all those gluten-free flours and, you know, putting all that time and effort in a crust. And you know, sometimes when you use those flours, you don't know the taste and everything and how it's going to turn out. At least you know with the crustless quiche, you don't have to worry about the crust. You can make it in the morning really fast before friends come over for brunch, or you can make it for a quick
I like
dinner.
it for dinner.
Yeah, I like it for dinner too. But it's a perfect brunch meal. All right, just a little bit of pepper, about half a teaspoon. Okay, and that looks perfect. It looks set. Now, like I said in the beginning, we preheated our oven to 450 and it's ready. And we're gonna take this in and we're gonna put it in the oven for 30 minutes. Be careful not to slosh it. You could even put it on a cookie sheet if you want. Next, we'll be making our blueberry pancakes. But let's clean up this mess first. We'll be right back.